Hello and welcome back. I'm so glad to have with me a wonderful guest today. You're going to love her energy. You're going to love her personal story. Her name is Matha Figaro. She is the CEO and founder of ButACake in New Jersey. And the reason I love her energy is because she represents so much about what's good about the cannabis business in terms of people I meet, for sure. Matha, take a couple seconds. Just tell us your history of confection and cooking in cannabis, because it's just a really neat story.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, I'm born and raised in Jersey, first generation Haitian American. I feel like I've been in the kitchen, honestly, since the day I could stand up. Fast forward, I went to culinary school. I worked in some of the best fine dining restaurants in the country, out in Philly, out in Miami, obviously here, Jersey, and in New York. That was really exciting. And then I started ButACake. I was just making really great butter cakes. It had nothing to do with cannabis. They were just delicious and everybody loved them. And that's how I really got started. But I've always loved baking. I've always been the kid in the kitchen.
You've always been the kid in the kitchen. And when
Yeah.
did you discover infusions, and how did that evolve?
I discovered that when a customer asked me to turn my butter cake into an edible. She was dealing with chemo and she needed some relief. Her young son suggested that she turn her favorite snack into something that could help. At first I said absolutely not, because I didn't want to go to jail for her. Honestly, it wasn't as legal back then as it is now. But then I just, she came back and it was just in my heart to help her. And then the business kind of just grew and took off from there.
Wow. And now you're in New Jersey. It's this burgeoning legal state. You're part of the amazing success story, I think, of some of the minority and lower opportunity applicants who are getting an opportunity to get licenses. Tell us about where you are in New Jersey in terms of your evolution.
Yeah, so my friend Jimmy, we've been friends since the third grade. He was the new kid back then, and I was so eager that somebody new was coming in because I felt like I was sitting next to like the two kids from hell. So that was the beginning of our friendship. And he works in manufacturing in the pharma side, not cannabis related or anything. And so while I was learning how to be a chef and then having my own business and then doing the infusions, he was learning about packaging and manufacturing and all those things and working in that world. And we came together and he's like, Matha, what are you going to do like 2 or 3 years later after legalization with ButACake? Like, how are you going to survive as a business? And I was like, I don't know. You tell me, since you're my friend. Like, you tell me what to do. I don't know. And he was like, okay, well, I've been in the packaging world and you make the same things over and over and over again with consistency. He's like, we should go after a manufacturing license. And so I started learning about manufacturing. We really just took the time to develop our business relationship outside of our friendship. We created our business plan and we applied for a Class 2 manufacturing license in the state of New Jersey under the name CanPowerment. That's how that.
What type of products are you going to start with? Obviously, your famous ButACake, but what else are you planning on bringing into the pipeline?
So we're going to be doing vapes and playing in the extraction world. And then we'll also be doing oral dissolvable strips, just like the Listerine strip. You put it on your tongue and it starts to dissolve.
And then I had a chance to try a non-medicated version of that, or maybe perhaps it was a Delta 8 when I saw you in New York, and that was game-changing, truly game-changing. I love that.
Thank you.
I love the upping one next, in terms of the consistency, the taste. I mean, you get to freshen your breath at the same time you get medicated. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, we're really excited to bring that into the cannabis world, whether it's medical or adult use. I think it's just a fantastic product. More people should be able to have access to.
Right.
Yeah.
So tell us about, in terms of being a minority in New Jersey, tell us about that path, and because I think that's probably one of the success stories in New Jersey. I mean, the book is still being written and the chapters are still being assembled. But from your perspective, as someone who's going through that process right now as we speak, tell us about your experience in New Jersey of applying for and getting a manufacturer license.
New Jersey made it really complicated, honestly. I'm thankful that we have, a commission that was created outside of like the bodies that write all the legislation and stuff to help be the middleman, to talk to people like me, to connect my like real life experience, thoughts, and ideas to those legislative people that are writing the rules. I wish that more municipalities opted in. 70% said no. And so
Yeah.
now 100% of everybody like me are fighting over the same 30%, which makes it really just really, really difficult considering that we don't typically own the land or own the buildings to begin with. So it's hard, but they're trying their best to make it a little bit easier, and I understand it, but we'll get there.
Right. So you're in the process of raising capital right now to realize all your dreams?
Yeah, luckily I actually just closed my friends and family round. We have enough capital to get to operational and to get product out the doors and into the people's hands. So if we need a little more money after that, we'll reopen.
That's a huge hurdle. Congratulations. I can't
Thank
wait.
you.
I can't wait to be there when you start cranking out products.
Same. Oh my God, same.
What's your timeline? When do you think you'll be able to start the manufacturing process?
Oh man, I can't answer that with confidence only because the way bureaucracy works and the way our government works, they're a little slow. So as of right now, I have no idea. Aiming for summer would be nice.
Okay, that's it. Aiming for summer. ButACake in the summer.
Yeah.
I'll look to it. So talk to us about your experience in the cannabis world, because it is very much considered in so many corners of our industry the wild west. I like to say the people I've met in cannabis have been extraordinary. I think beyond any other industry I've met. But tell us, as a young African American, first generation American living in New Jersey, I mean, you have a very unique perspective. Tell us what your thoughts are to come into a burgeoning industry as someone who's got a lot of the check boxes by your name.
Thank you. I mean, I think I walked into this with the understanding that cannabis is not a new industry. I'm not reinventing the wheel. I'm not doing something that like people haven't been doing before me for hundreds of years, honestly. I think that the legalization of it is what's new, and that the people writing those rules, that maybe they haven't been tapped into what we've been doing for all these years before they decided, but I don't know.
Point well taken. Point well taken.
Yeah, so that's really where I'm at with that. I don't think that I'm doing anything that's that much different than what I've already been doing in the legacy world. I keep it honest. I put a quality product out there, and I just try to do my best.
So tell us about product development. And what do you think? I mean, what are you going to come out with first? You're going to come out with the ButACake first, or you come out with what are you thinking?
Ooh, okay. So outside of CanPowerment's license, since we're talking about ButACake, product development has been so fun the last few months. We just did a co-brand with a company called Sinful Beverages, and we now have a ButACake coffee being developed. It is delicious, and it's going to be flavored with like Haitian coffee and some accents of vanilla. Yeah, it's going to be delicious. And so while we're ironing that out, getting ready to launch in Montana, over 200 stores, super fun. And then I most recently did some product development on the baked goods end to launch in an East Coast state with cookies and a brownie.
Nice.
Yes.
And one of the things it's interesting is you see a lot of ratioed products coming out. You see a lot of high dose, low dose. What do you think the trends are in terms of confection? I think there's a trend toward lower dose because people want to enjoy it. And one of my biggest frustrations is when I taste a really good edible for the first time, I say, crud, I can't have any more.
Because you want to just keep snacking on it.
Eating it. So I really do think that low dose edible could be the future, just like no different than a beer or a low alcohol beer that you sip on, all afternoon. I want to be able to sit there and munch on cookies and not fall asleep.
Exactly. I totally agree with that. You're absolutely right. Even, in my experience doing ButACake, we're almost 8 years now with it. I found that that's exactly how people like to enjoy it. People want to consume edibles the same way they consume a bag of chips, but they also don't want to wait 2 hours for the effect.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I do think it's tolerance is very different in cannabis than it is in alcohol, and I think education is required. People take for granted you have whiskeys and you have spirits and then you have beer and wine, and there's kind of two different categories, and we're kind of falling that way in cannabis as well. But we have to do a better job bifurcating the industry accordingly, because I do think the virgin users are going to be the ones that that gravitate toward the really good, yummy edibles.
Correct. And that's why they have to be low dose so that they don't have a bad experience for their first time.
We don't want people to have bad experiences. Bad experiences are good for the industry.
So true.
What about ratioed products? Have you experimented with ratioed products, CBD or CBN or CBG or some of those other unknown or rare cannabinoids that people are playing around with for different effects?
I personally haven't played or dabbled in that quite yet. I do have a medical advisory board, essentially, and they will be the ones that when we're ready to release the strips, especially in the medicinal market, they'll be helping us formulate and play around with adding those extra cannabinoids that help with different things.
Well, I can't wait for you to launch those strips commercially. I think those are game changing. And when the business first started, 10 years ago, when I first started going to Colorado, and you started seeing these new forms come up, these little, it was obviously a lot of stealthy things, and asthma inhalers, and the vape pens were the original stealthy. Every form you could think of. But I mean, your strips that you developed were just absolutely perfect for the burgeoning cannabis market, and unique, and it's green fields.
Yeah.
And they happen to taste good.
They sure do. The chef could not put something out that didn't taste good.
Right. Thank you, Jeff. And that's one of the things that I like about chatting with you and chatting with anybody who's in the culinary field, because cannabinoids and terpenes are so unique, just no different than cooking with alcohol, and the effects you can have and the tastes you have are so varied. And when I spend time with a cannabis chef, I'm always amazed with the different variations of flavors and profiles that you can come up with based on this little spice that you add in called cannabis.
Yeah, terpenes are in everything we eat. Everything. It's the reason why, we smell a lemon and it brings us joy, and we smell like, I don't know, anise or a peppercorn or something that's not as bright, and it doesn't bring us nearly as much joy.
So yeah, the terpenes and smelling the terpenes, as I've gotten to become a more seasoned consumer myself, it's, you smell it, you can smell the profile just like you can wine. And spending time with cannabis chefs and saying, hey, this would pair really well with this dish. It's like, wow, this is getting to be really sophisticated stuff.
Yeah, an ingredient.
It's a new ingredient that changes everything. It makes it 3-dimensional instead of 2-dimensional in terms of flavor and profiles. So I've been amazed by that, and I can't wait to see what you and what all the cannabis chefs come out with, especially in the confectioner side. And
my gosh, same.
Being a pretty strict plant-based person myself, I'm also excited to see what you can do in the vegan plant-based side. That's a burgeoning trend in cannabinoid edibles, and I love to see the trends track together. I think that would be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things that I'm most excited about doing with CanPowerment. We want to empower every single brand out there that focuses on those specific categories. Come to us, because we want to manufacture your products and we want to put some weed in it.
that wraps it up.
Yeah.
But
Mike,
it's a lot more complicated than just putting weed in it, because it is a complicated plant. You can't just take any plant off of and then just put it in oil and then just mix it in with it's a lot more complicated than that.
Very.
And
yeah.
It's science and art mixed in with one, is from what I can tell. With a lot of tasting, a lot of trial and error. It's like, that tastes wow, that tastes good. Let's go down that path. And so you have to have the experienced palates to do that. And there's not many people specifically in the cannabis and confectioner space that I've come across that have both those skills. And hats off to you, Matha, for trying to occupy that space and trying to make New Jersey a more fun place to live. I mean,
for sure.
Jersey is known for your baked goods. I mean, the bakeries on every corner and every little, they're all good. I've never had bad baked in New Jersey, so you got tough competition to start with.
That's right. And New Jersey is just so diverse. Like, we have so many gems of mom and pop immigrant owned bakeries in this state alone. Like, it's really, we eat well in New Jersey, and I hope to be right up there at that level when I start making some things with cannabis.
Well, Matha, congratulations to you. Congratulations on your future success. I can't wait to be in New Jersey soon. You have stuff rolling off the production line this summer, hopefully.
That's right. That's right. Hopefully you'll be able to even, get in your car and do a little state visit somewhere. You might be able to take a trip to Montana. We're going everywhere.
We're going everywhere. And we'll see you in New York at MJ Unpacked, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
And we'll have a chance to hopefully ring the gong and hopefully see some of ButACake's products in other states as well, other than Montana and some other places you've signed up. So if you want to put weed into baked goods or anything confectionery, Matha Figaro is your person.
That's right. Thank you.
Great talking with you, Matha.
You too, Dan.
Take care.